Hello guys, you're welcome to my channel, and today in this tutorial I want to teach you some simple way on how you can test your React application. Now, testing of React application is one of the unpopular topic out there, and I feel it's one of the very important topic every developer should learn, more especially if you're a front-end developer. It's very important you write some testing on your components so you can easily debug your code snippet if you have one. And testing is very important for not just the developer alone, for anybody who wants to work with on the project, or who want to read the project, or who want to work every part of the team who are currently engaged in that development. And I want to show you how to basically write some tests, how to write it in a very simple format where you get to see some of the steps and some of the process you need to follow and all of that. Now, if you create your React app, if you bootstrap your React app using npm create React app, you will most likely get some packages that helps you run some unit tests, and that is Jest. And that is what I will be showing you in this very video tutorial, how you can test every of your components, how you can use Jest, which comes with create React app, which is a testing library where you can use to write your test, and how that works as well. So just stick with me right now. In the next few minutes we'll go to our components, we'll go to our VS Code rather, and create a basic React application, create some component, and also write some tests on there. And this test is we will be testing the code live on the practical section, where we'll test every part of our function or every part of our component that we write some unit test on, so that you will easily debug your component, your React application, if there is any bug somewhere, or if any part of the component is failing some of the purpose of which you intended it to be. Now, you can write your test before each component is created, or tests can be written on the components after they've been created, so you can know which part of the component is not meeting the business logic or the purpose for the testing library. We show you that in a second, and that is one of the benefits of you writing test cases. It's really help in debugging, getting errors, and fixing bugs. It will show you which part of the component is failing, so you can easily go right there and track that section of the DOM of the component rather, and then fix it. So before we go to the practical section, I want to show you some of the things we'll be interacting with. Now, just like I said, when you use npm create React app, it comes with a React testing library for you. Now, within the React testing library, we will be importing two classes majorly. Okay, we'll be importing the render and the screen. You'll get to see that, you understand more of that once we start to write the code. Now, what the render does, just like you can see right here on my board, this is the function on the React testing library that will grab us the component we want to write our test on. And the other function, the other method we have on the React testing library that we'll be importing, that is coming with the create React app, is the screen. Now, the screen method on the React testing library helps us to not just test our React package, not just test the component of our DOM, but what this screen part of the React testing library helps us to do is it provides us, it allows us access to some element on the screen. Now, in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say is the render is a function on the React testing library, that allows us to render a particular component, and the screen, which is also coming from the React testing library, allow us to access some specific element on our DOM. So these two functions, these two methods from the React testing library is very important, because you have to tell React testing library what part of the component which of the components you want to test. All right, so you use the render to grab that component, and then you use the screen method, which is on the same React testing library, to grab a particular section of the DOM, on the component or a particular section of the rendered component rather. Now you might actually have so many components, so many paragraph, H1s, button, you might have some image tag, you might have some divs and all of that on your component, right? So now you use the render to grab the whole of that component, and then you use the screen to access a particular tag on the rendered component that you want to write your test on. So that is what the screen method is all about. And just like you can see from there, the screen will grab us that component, then we write our test on the component, and we also tell what we expect from that component. Now we'll go to VS Code, where I'll basically create a React application. We'll write in some couple of components, and we'll test each and every of the component and run our test case, so you see and learn how you can write a simple testing library. Now you can write more of these. Now if you want to check more on some of the testing, some of the code snippet on testing and some of the documentation on how you can test your applications, you will see that on the documentation page for Jest. So right now let's go to our VS Code and bootstrap a React project using npx create React app. Okay, now let me cd to my desktop, and I'll create a folder. I'll call it make directory React test. Okay, now let me cd into the directory I just created, and let me open that directory on my VS Code terminal. Okay, now we currently have an empty folder where we want to write, where we want to create our React app and then write some tests on it. We'll test some of our components, to test some specific tag or specific element of our component using the inbuilt testing library that comes with React. So for that, I'll use the npx create React app to bootstrap our React project. Npx create React app. I'll call the name of the app. That is the command snippet used to create your React app. Npx create React app, and you give the app a name. I'll call it app. This will take some couple of seconds to bootstrap the project, depending on your internet speed. If your internet speed is a little bit fast, it will come up, in some 5 to 10 seconds. Or if your internet is a little bit slow, just like I'm having it right now on my system, that can take some couple of seconds. Let me quickly switch my network and stop this again, and let me try to run the command snippet npx create React app, and then you give the name of the app you want to create. So now okay. All right. Well, the previous command I ran actually created a package.json file. Let me delete this, so we'll start the process from the very beginning. npx create React app, and you give the app a name, and this is currently creating the React application for us, and our React application will be bootstrap. Just give it a couple of seconds. Okay, while that is going up, I just want to say a couple of difference between npm and npx. You might want to know, why do we use npm sometime and why do we use npx? Now there's a little difference between npm and npx. npm is node package manager, while npx is node package execute. All right, so now npm is the default manager for node, and you use that to primarily manage and install packages. Okay, whereas npx is a tool, it comes with npm, and it is used to execute some binaries from the package, and then npx helps you not to install those packages globally. All right, so you kind of use it. npx more is often used, right, for running CLI tools, right, for some of those dependencies that you want to have in your project. It's used to run just from specific version that you want to have, and where you don't need to install them globally. So that's the a little different between them. All right, so in summary, npm is used to manage package within your node JS project, whereas npx is a tool where you use it to execute some packages and some kind of binaries. All right, so it makes it easier to run commands and tools, without you globally installing them, on your local machine and all of that. So that is why if you want to create a React application, you use npx create React app. All right, guys, we have a React application bootstrap with npx create React app. Now just follow the instruction in there. We have the folder here created. I just need to cd into the folder, and that's the only folder I have, app, and then I can start this project by running the command npm start, or if you're working with yarn, you can use yarn start, and this will bootstrap the React project. Okay, I currently have one project currently running right now on port 3000. So npm is trying to tell me to click Y through to start the project on another port like 3001. Maybe that port is already taken. So that's one of the benefits you get with create React app. By default, your React project will run on port 3000. Okay, and if that port is taken, then you'll be prompted to with the message which just popped up on my screen a couple of seconds ago, to allow your React application run on another port, which is, it most likely would be 1 digit away from the 3000 port. Now if this is already taken again, another port might actually just npm create React app will pick up another port, maybe 3003, and the number keeps up growing like that. So right now, if I go to my browser, let me copy this address. This is where our React application is currently running on. Let me open my browser, and if you go to that address, this is the basic code snippet you get from your create React app. This is the basic bootstrap React snippet you get from your create React app. Okay, so we'll go to the file now, and this tutorial is basically all about writing some tests on React, how you can test your React components, your React application, not necessarily teaching you on how to write your React application. So I will not be talking more on the React application in details, right? I'll just brief you on some of the basic things, some of the basic components, and some of the basic elements you have in there. All right, now in every of your React application, you most will likely have your file within the src folder, and where we'll have the app.js. If you use npx create React app, you get the default app.js and index.js file. Now the index.js renders the app directly on your DOM for you. All right, and every other file, in most cases, will get imported, and you manage all of that within your app.js, and that will be exported and imported here within your index.js that interact directly with the DOM. All right, and you can check out more talks on React application and all of that, and you get more information on how that happens. All right, so now on our page right here, we have this React logo spinner kind of circling all around on our page, and we have this edit, src, and save, reload, and all of this. So all of this text, let me drop that, is coming from app.js file. So this is the logo, the images you see right here on the screen, spinning and turning, all of that, and these are some classes about some of the images we have right here. This you see right here on the screen. So that is coming from this part of the page, and the Learn React you see right there, which is like the image you have within your regular anchor tag in your HTML code snippet. Okay, and we have this paragraph of edit and all of that. That is also what you have right here beneath the React logo. And one thing I want to show you real quick is within our package.json file with the create React app, you see some of the code snippets to build your app if you want to deploy to production. We have the start, if you want to run your React application just like the way I have it some couple of seconds ago. And we have this command snippet for test. This is what we'll be discussing with in details in this tutorial section on testing, and that is for the script in starting your React application. And now for the dependency, we have this module right, this package right here. You can see this comes with CRA, Create React App, and we have testing library. We have these also, these three packages, they all come with CRA, right, for you to write and test every of your component, and we'll be dealing more with that. All right, now if you bootstrap the project using CRA, you have a file. This most likely is by default this comes with the name app.test.js. You can give this any name right now. One of the best widely used convention is to give it .test before the extension of .js, right? So this will kind of lets you know this is a test file. All right, so now this is where the CRA have some basic tests of our components, okay, on the basic component that we created. Now if we go back to the package.json file, you will see this command snippet right here, test. All right, so this will run the test on your component. Now if I bring up my terminal and let me duplicate this and run the command yarn test or npm run test. Let me use npm run test. Now what you're doing here, you're trying to run this command snippet on line 17 on package.json file, which is React script test. All right, so once you run that, what this React script test will do, it will scan through every of your file within your project, right? And if there's any file that have these tests within it, right, that will try to use the React testing library to test that component. Now if you have another file, let me say you have another file of mytest.test.js and you have some testing code snippet in it, then the React testing library will also implement that and you see the result on the screen. Now if I run this, we will see just one test suite, right, which is what we have right in here within our app.test file. This is testing our React code snippet. Now let me run the command on this terminal, npm run test, and just give it some couple of seconds, and this is scanning through every of the file. You can read the user right here. Hit enter for the command to run and press A to test every of our file. All right, so here we have it. We have just one test suite within our React application, which is what we have in here. And what this file is actually testing is that our app component renders an anchor tag. Let me have that on my screen so we can see what we are testing. Let me collapse this. All right, let me collapse this so the code will be a little bit neater. Okay, so this is what this app is currently trying to test at the moment. This is what this test suite is trying to test on our React application. Now, just like I earlier showed on the slide, just like we have right here, we have the render and the screen, just like I earlier explained, which are the two methods or function we get from our React testing library. So now we use the render to grab the component we want to write our test on. All right, now remember, you have to import that component first, right, the component you're testing. Now it's possible you have several components within your React application and you don't want to test all of the components. Maybe you're interested in testing just one component or just a few. You have to import every component you want to test within your test file. Okay, now after importing that component within your project, then you need to use the render function, which is from the React testing library, just like I explained, to grab the component. Now we can import several other components within this file right in here. So now within this test suite, you need to use the render keyword to grab that section of the component you want to test on. So that is what we have here on line 5, and then you use the screen to grab a particular section or a particular element on the rendered component. So right now, what this test suite is actually trying to do is trying to grab text on the rendered component learn react. All right, and that is practically what we have here on our rendered component on our app.js file. Okay, so now if this test is actually passing, because on this component we are trying to run our react test on, we have the text learn react. That is why this component is passing the test. All right, now if we don't have learn react on this, maybe we have learn my let me just change that to my react, and then I save my file. All right, and just give it some couple of seconds and this test suite will fail. All right, now that is the very basic test you can see on your React application. So if you read the message, you see render learn react link. All right, now you can see some couple of message in here. This is the test suite that is failing. All right, now it is expecting to get the text learn react. All right, but that is not, you don't have any text with the word learn react on your screen. That is why this test suite is failing. Okay, so now this test suite is expecting learn react, not learn my react. Okay, and let me remove that and take it back to the right text. And currently, if you give it some couple of seconds, the test suite will pass the test case which we wrote on it. So that is in the very basic format how you can test your React. Now I want to add more components on our app.js file. All right, I want to add some tag. I want to have a h1 right in there, and on the h1 I want to have the text hello world. Okay, now this is we're not writing any test suite on the h1 text for now of hello world, so this will definitely pass the test. Okay, now that is one of the benefits of you writing some test cases right on your application. Now if there are some couple of tags or some couple of text or some image, you want to make sure that is rendered or that is on your component with you writing the test case, and that will check your component, and if the test is not there, you immediately see some error response. Okay, so right now I want to create another test suite on to check my to check for the word hello world. All right, so now every test you're writing on React, you have to you write that within this test function. Okay, now this test function actually contains two things. All right, let me comment that out. Every of your test suite contains two things basically. One, we have a description of what you're testing, which will be in string format. Description of the test you're writing, and then the other one is a callback function where you implement every of your tests. All right, so the other thing within your test suite method is your callback function of the test. All right, so now the first thing you have to pass in here within this your test method is a description of what you're testing right now. Take for instance, if you take a look at the test we wrote, right, this is the description. We want to render learn react on our component. Okay, and that is what this test suite is actually doing. That is the description. And then the next thing you have, which is all what I highlighted right now, this is the function, the callback function that carries all of the method where you render the component and where you search for the on the screen what component you want to search for, what component you want to get on that, and all of the necessary test case you want to write. Okay, right now what we want to get is we want to make sure we have the text hello world within our React component. So we'll have to write that in the description here. What that we want to see that the component renders hello world. Okay, and then the next thing we'll have is our function. All right, and now within this function here, I'm using an arrow function this time around. This is where I will write all of my test on getting hello world on the DOM. Right now, if you check right now, we have two tests. The first one is the one that's text that we render learn React link on the DOM, and the other one is render hello world. Now we currently don't have any test cases right here, so none of this is failing. That is why we have all of our test suits passing at the moment. So the first, now within the function, let me also atomize the step we need to take. The first thing is we need to grab the elements or components we want to test, that you want to test, and then you use the screen. You use the screen to get a particular section. You use the screen with the screen. All right, use the screen to get that section of the rendered component that you want to check some method on. So that's basically what we'll be doing. All right, so let me drop my terminal a bit so we'll have some couple of space. Now the first thing we need to do, we need to render the app component. This is GitHub Copilot giving me some of those autocomplete and command suggestion snippet. All right, so we want to get that from our rendered component. All right, and now after getting that, the next thing we need to do is we can declare a variable, right, that will hold us the value of the section of the rendered component that we want to get. All right, for this time I want to call it h1 element, and we can use the const variable this time around. We'll say const h1, that's what I want to get, element equal document dot get screen, on the screen we want to get by text a hello world. All right, now the I we are having right in here will make the text we're getting to be case insensitive. All right, now if you check on the app component, we have the H is in uppercase and the W and all of that. Now if you don't put the I flag right in there, this will not grab that section of the. Now if you don't care about case insensitivity, then you need to add the I flag on your get by text, all right, on the screen. Now there's some other methods you can check that on the Jest documentation on how you can get text, get image, get button, and all of that. You can do where to check that on the React test library documentation and Jest. You can read more on that. Okay, now so what we're doing right here, we're grabbing that section of the DOM, and now we use the expect keyword, right, to make sure that that is on the DOM. Okay, now up to this moment, if I save my document, we're still passing the test case. All right, now if I write we expect the h1 element to be on the DOM. All right, and this is where we are truly testing that the text hello world is there on our DOM. All right, that is what basically we are testing. We are testing for the text hello world. All right, now if I have if instead of hello world, if I have hello world without the D, and if I save my file, this will not pass the test case. Now if you scroll down, you will see where your test case is actually failing. Render hello world, you can see it there. All right, now renders hello world, that is also failing, and you can see that this will also show you on your DOM, right, which of your component you're currently not passing, that is currently not passing the test. And also on the test file, you see that which of the test suite is trying to show you this error warning. All right, so you can go there and correct it. Now this can give you some guidance on which part of your code is failing or where you currently need to go check and fix your bugs. All right, so right now I'll just create a basic component, and I want to have a very basic component. I just want us to test another component, not just the default app that comes with a create React app. And I will just come in here and create the component. I'll call that I'll create a new file, and I'll call it name.js. all right, you can use the shortcut snippet RFCE. This will get you a basic React burial template. All right, React component, functional component. Now just type RFCE on your code editor, and you get and hit the tab key. That will generate this basic component structure for you. Now, if that is not working for you, you need to install this extension on your VS Code. And let me show you what extension can give you that. That is a React Redux ES7 extension, this one right here. All right, you need to have this extension installed on your VS Code. That will enable you to work, that will give you the shortcut snippet in generating a basic React component snippet. All right, so right now we have this component, and this component have a div and the name on it. All right, so I just want to put in the name of my YouTube channel there, and that is at Obed. All right, so I have this within a div, right? And I want to test, I want to make sure that this name component have my channel name there on it. All right, so the first thing we need to do, this is I don't want to create another testing library. I want to have all of that because this is just very simple. This is just the intro to testing your React application. So I want to have all of my tests in here. So all I need to do is to import the component name right in here within my testing file, my React test file. Okay, then I need to create the test. Remember the flow. You need to have a test method, and within the test method you need to pass in your description within the method, and then the callback function where you run your test. So I have the test and render name, and I will explain all of that once again. Let me close this. Okay, right now within render my name, we expect this to render the name of my channel, which is at all right, want this to be rendered on the console, on the DOM, which is as Obed. All right, now just like, you know, it's very, very simple. You just like the way we've been having it in the previous document, right? So we kind of grab the component we want to test, all right, which with the render method we get from a React testing library, all right, and from there you use the screen to get the components on a particular element on the rendered component, and from there you use the to be in document, right? You use that to check to ensure that that is on the document of your application. Okay, and now also I want to try to get an image tag, right? I want to have an image tag to be on our component. I think I have an image tag right here. Yeah, good. We have an image tag on the app.js. Now I want to test for image tag on our app.js component. Right now you can test for every component. You can test for paragraph, you can test for button, you can test for some anchor tags, you can test for table, all of that you can test for. You can write your test file on that. So I'll show you how to test for image tag. All right, let me close, bring down my editor, my terminal once again, and what we want to do, we want to test that it renders an image tag. All right, so that is my basic description, and I'll write my callback function, and within the callback function I write all of my tests. All right, so right now we want to test for image file within the app.js component. So I'll write the command render, and then we'll put what component we want to render, and that is app. Okay, so within the app folder, right, we have this we have this logo alt on our DOM, all right, and we can use the on screen to grab that section of the image tag, right, of our image that we want to get. All right, now we are checking to be sure that at the moment we are not checking for image tag yet. All right, so now what we want to do from this section of the element, from this element we grab on the rendered component, we can use that to check if it has the src attribute. Okay, and what we can do is we can use the expect once again. Okay, I think I can just go ahead and remove this. We're not just checking for the text. We're not just checking if this exists or not done. All right, so I want to check that that is an image. So we want to do expect the img element. All right, we use the dot to have attribute, attribute src and logo.svg. all right, so that is what we want to check on our image. all right, now if I check this test file, right, this is actually breaking now because this logo.svg is currently not there on our image folder. all right, so that is not the path to our image, right? Our image is currently in this src. all right, and that is why that is breaking. all right, now if I comment this out and I declare a variable maybe, and I have let logo is logo to equal, let me put that within a string. all right, then that will work. all right, so that is how you can test for some kind of certain attribute on your React component. all right, so that is basically it in this tutorial, and if you want me to speak on more of the testing of other components on React and how you can perform so many other operations on testing your React applications and all of that, please do well to drop it on the comment section below, and I will expand more on this, and I'll elaborate and make it much more, and I'll break it down. all right, and then lastly, before I end this tutorial section, I want to show you how you can organize your test function. all right, in React. Now currently we have 4 tests. all right, and in our app.test file. all right, now this is not organized. If you take a look at that, we are testing 2 components, right? And we have a test for our app component, we have another test for app again, we have test for a name component and app, and you can see this is kind of not organized, and they are all just kind of mixed up all in between. all right, now there is the describe keyword, all right, within that you can use that helps you to group your components test together in one place. all right, now this is what I'm talking about. Now instead of having it this way, we can use the describe just like this. And now the describe keyword is a little bit similar to the test. all right, now what the describe keyword actually does is, let me put that also in the comment. It also on the first thing you need to pass in within your describe methods in your testing library is a brief description of the component or the function you are testing. all right, description of the tested component or function. That is one of the first thing you need to pass in, and then the other one is a callback function for all of the tests, right, of all of the tests you have within that component. So now if we are to organize our test file on all of the components we have in here right now, it's possible you are writing some test cases for 10 or 20 component within this. all right, you might want to group each component, right, within one block. So that is what the describe keyword offers you. all right, and now what we can do in here, the description here, this is, we are testing our app component, and then within the callback function, every of our tests relating to app, we can cut this out and put that in within our describe block right in here. So we have that in here, and all of these, they are all relating to our describe block. So let me cut that out and also put them right in here. all right, and we have our describe block, every kind of organizing every of our test file at the moment. all right, so I can also cut this is relating to um, name component, and let me put that in here. Close my describe block, and within this callback function, once again I'll put in my test file relating to my describe relating to my name component. So that is basically it for this tutorial, and thank you very much for sticking around. Thank you for subscribing, and if you like the video, you're here to subscribe, please do feel free to subscribe. You can like, comment on the video, share it on any of platform you want to share this, and I'll see you in the next tutorial series.